Guys, new artifacts are coming in the next Natlan patch, so in this video we'll go over them, what they do, and what you can expect in terms of how they will affect the meta. Let's go! So, something that kinda goes without saying is that anytime there is a new region, OUers will put out new artifacts that deeply synergize with the upcoming characters. It happened last year with Fontaine and the Marachose Hunter set, with Sumeru with the Enter and Elemental Mastery Focus set, and kinda did with Inazuma and the Emblem set for Raiden specifically. That said, there are also sets that typically tend to help a lot of units that came out before the new region release, and it seems that Natlan artifacts make no exception. To an extent. Specifically, the thing I got my eyes on right now is the new supportive set they're pushing out. This set is very interesting to me because of its pretty versatile effects, as it will provide a damage bonus to multiple characters in the team if the holders triggers an elemental reaction. The ones that will get positively affected by this are all the characters in the team that have elements typically involved in that specific elemental reaction. This means that if, for example, you're using a team containing Bennett, Arlecchino, and Yelan, if Bennett triggers a Vaporize reaction following Yelan's Hydro application, all three of them will get a 12% damage bonus for 10 seconds. Note that the characters except the holder don't need to be involved in the elemental reaction to get the buff. For this particular case, Arlecchino will get the buff even if she doesn't have anything to do with the specific reaction triggered. This fact alone makes the set one of the most versatile in the game when it comes to supporting, potentially. 12% damage bonus is no slouch at all, and while it doesn't overwhelmingly dominate buffs other sets like Noblesse Oblige or Instructor can provide, it's simply more versatile overall, as damage bonus will benefit characters regardless of their scaling stat, for example. The only situation where the buff is not particularly meaningful is when the team relies on transformative reactions that poorly scale off Elemental Mastery, like for example all the Bloom teams, but this is not a very big exception to be honest. And the funny part here is that this is the bare minimum the set can do, as it has very specific effects that tie to Natlan characters. For starters, if anybody on the team triggers a Night Soul burst, the holder of the set will regain 6 energy. Night Soul is a newly implemented mechanic that only Natlan units have. The naming seems to imply that it's strictly tied to Elemental Burst because a Night Soul burst, but we don't have full certainty of that at the moment. Still, it's a perfectly fitting energy refund effect for a set that will, for the most part, only be used on supportive units, and this can seemingly proc multiple times in quick succession as no cooldown is listed for it. Of course, we won't have many Natlan units right off the bat the next patch, but with Molani and Kinich being pretty nice main DPS, some supports will already be able to take advantage of the set effects like that. For example, Mona on Molani Vape teams to lower her massive energy requirements a bit. Moving on, if the holder of the set is in the Night Soul Blessing state, another Natlan mechanic, he will give an additional 28% damage bonus to the 12% I mentioned before. This is naturally massive, because it basically gives any Natlan character the capability to provide a Kazuha type buff on top of what they have going on their kit already. In actuality, this could have an effect on the meta similar to the very distant Veneer set, where Natlan units can be good in a team just by virtue of being able to use this set to the fullest. This might be the case for Kachina, a Geo sub DPS that is coming out next patch that truthfully doesn't have a whole lot going on for her kit, but can use this set to the fullest, and so she can be a huge benefit for compositions regardless. I talk about her more specifically in a dedicated video, but again, the fact that she can use this set by itself already makes her quite promising. Still, the facts are that with a good 95% of the cast being non-Natlan units, the more pressing topic right now is how good the set can be in what's practically the worst case scenario for it. For the most part, as I implied earlier, the set is mostly in line with a non-resistance reduction support set in terms of the benefits it can provide. This actually has quite a lot of use cases by itself, as for example, you can give it to Xianyun on Xiao teams, Nahida on Quicken teams, Bennett and Arlecchino Vape teams, and basically almost every other team that has its supports using Noblesse. For Vape teams, however, they have access to another very strong support set, namely Instructor, that has always been noticeably better than Noblesse. Sadly, it looks like the new set isn't strong enough to beat that, but it's still a decent alternative overall. I actually think most people haven't kept the Instructor pieces from their box, so the new set becoming another option is nice. Meanwhile, on Vape teams that still benefit from elemental mastery, like a item quicken, the new Natlan set is competitive with Instructor on somebody like Cookie. Of course, however, the situation where the new set really shines is when there isn't another set that can be used otherwise, like for example on HP scaling teams like Nuvolet Freeze. You can simply give Charlotte the set and it will just be a net benefit for the team compared to what it previously was, so that's nice. Once again, this is thanks to damage bonus being a really versatile type of buff compared to what other sets can provide. So, as a whole, it's gonna be a pretty good option right off the bat, with the potential of becoming a meta staple once we get more Natlan units in the game. Moving on, the second set is a far more specific one, at least for now. It's meant for pure damage dealers, and it will give the holders that have Night Soul blessings and consume Night Soul points, so Natlan mechanics, 20% unconditional damage bonus and 40% crit rate respectively. These are pretty crazy buffs that make this set the single best in the game in terms of damage amplification, surpassing even sets like Blizzard Strayer in their best case scenario. As it currently stands, it would be a must farm for units like Mulan and Kenich, but just don't have super competitive options across the board otherwise. Not much else to say really, any Natlan DPS will want this set presumably, but it's interesting to talk about how the set works and its hypothetical potential, I guess. In the past, just a year ago, we had Fiorina enabling the Marashusei Hunter set for any unit in the game thanks to her team-wide elemental skill HP drain. This made Marashusei a top-tier option for practically every DPS in the game, with this set providing straight-up better damage bonus and crit rate compared to the Marashusei set. If the Pyro Archon were to somehow enable the Natlan mechanics for any unit on the team, she could have a Fiorina-like impact for this new set. However, this is also a long shot because of how the set works. The active character needs to constantly be in the Night Soul blessing state to get the damage bonus, and also constantly consume Night Soul points to keep the crit rate buffs up, as they normally only last for 6 seconds per trigger. This is not really as simple as making units on the team lose HP. Mavuika would literally need to turn units on the team into Natlan characters to achieve the same results. Still, the set seems strong enough that even without full uptime, it could be very competitive, so a good compromise can maybe be the Pyro Archon enabling this set with a level of consistency that makes it just as good as the Marashusei set maybe. I think this would be a good compromise really. For the rest, the support set alone makes the new domain incredibly good to farm in general, and with rumors of the new Strongbox cycle containing even the Marashusei and the Golden Troop sets, it seems like Hoyo really wants us to spend the next year of our Genshin lives into the new hot Natlan domain. And with this, I'm done for today. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe and also go check the latest Kinich and Mulani video I made. Bye bye.